little bit disappointed with the journalistic system in Italy, and so maybe
so you wanted them to use it more than they actually do.
Yeah. And maybe that's why my view is so pessimistic, and I don't really have a good. Maybe it's not. This is the reason why I don't have a good view of my fellow Italian citizens.
I see. Yeah.
I don't know, but I think we are behind in any case.
Yeah. Do you think, as a journalist, that...
Am I saying stuff?
No.
I will that like compromise and stuff?
No. It's really good. I will delete this again. Don't worry. Well, actually, I interviewed a friend I have from Russia and a friend from Turkey. And my friend from Turkey, she was just like, you can ask me anything, but I don't want to answer anything about like
political.
Exactly, because she worked for one of the government papers. So
of course.
It was really interesting hearing her thoughts on it. So,
I can imagine.
So don't worry.
Okay. I actually told you I haven't been working as a journalist in Italy for a few years, so I don't know.
I mean, just answer whatever comes to your mind, even though it's from your professional experience as a communicator, or doesn't matter. Okay. Do you think, being educated as a journalist, that there is a certain professional identity linked to that?
I think so.
And how does it look?
But when you study journalism, of course, you learn the basic principles of journalism, the classic ones. Mm-hmm. So, of course, gatekeeping and this that you always have to serve the citizen and give them the truth and fight bad guys. So you grow up, you learn certain values, and you, I don't know, even now that I'm really disappointed with journalism, because I am. Even now, I still have this idea of how journalism should be. I don't know if it's because of my studies. I think so. Also because I used to study at School of Journalism in Rome with these two very old journalists that used to work in, really. They were really the journalistic. I don't know how to say it. They were really traditional journalism, like calling the police and going on crime scenes and walking a lot. We have a saying in Italy. It's something that can be translated like journalists with holes in their shoes because they walk so much. They walk so much, and
so like really investigative, or
but not only investigative. Like, do you say cronaca? Do you have a way of saying in English like black? All the news related to crimes and thieves and murders. For us, it's cronaca nera.
Okay, so dark stories, black stories,
something like this. And this is really la cronaca. It's something really.
It's a big thing.
You have to stay on the ground and work with talk to people, have informers, talk to the police. And they were really this kind of journalism that you don't really find now. I don't know if there are so many journalists that does the same now. There are some that call the police to see who was murdered the night before, but I mean, it's not in big papers. Maybe in regionals, local papers, they do it. They still do it, but and probably that's why I have this idea that I don't know, journalists have to be that. Even though I know that now it's not like this, and I would not be one of those.
But do you think that there's a tendency that journalists sometimes are a bit more, how to put it right, proud than other professions because they play this particular role in democracy? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, I know what you mean, and sometimes self-confident.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. There are a lot of them.
You experienced that as well?
Yes. People that think they can change the world just because they have a name. I worked for a couple of months in a press office, in a press team, in a festival, nothing fancy. But still, as a journalist, it was not mind-blowing, but I realized something working there as a journalist and having to deal with journalists. Journalists are awful people. They sometimes they really feel they behave like they are entitled to something
special, or
they're entitled to something special, especially some of them, the older ones. In my experience, the young ones, especially in Italy, they will get whatever you give them because they are used to working without being paid, and so they're desperate, and so sometimes they're more kind and more humble because they're used to working a lot and being paid very less, but maybe they're more committed. But some old journalists, they feel like they are entitled to everything, like they worked enough, so they're sticking to their privileges. Like in Italy, we have this Ordine dei Giornalisti. It's like the National Association of Journalists.
Okay.
And you are automatically you have to pay an amount of money every year to be a member, to be a member. And I am a member, as I have the card, and I did the national exam. You are automatically a member if you did this exam. And there are some old ones that are used to having a lot of privileges because once you have a proper journalistic contract, that now it's just something that they don't do anymore because it's super expensive for a paper to hire someone with the journalistic contract. You have so many privileges. You get a lot of money. You have all these health insurances, travel expenses. There are some journalists that were used to flying without having to pay anything, or traveling with cars.
So you think that's also adding to the identity or the behavior of...
there was a time when they had so much more privileges than now, and now they don't have so many because there are less money to spend, so they don't have so many privileges. And some of them feel like they should get more, or I don't know, they are entitled to something more, and this reflects. I don't know if this reflects in their way of working, but for sure reflects in their behavior towards the other people.
So do you think that this new development with social media, etc., is challenging this position as something special, as being something special? I mean, do they feel worried about it, or do you think they feel that they won't be useful in the future? Or
I don't know. I would like to know. I would like to ask someone of those old journalists, like, what do you mean? Does it challenge you? Because sometimes I I think they don't really see it as a meaningful tool. They just